Hey everybody, it's Teresa, and today we are going to do some fun Valentine's Day DIYs. Very eclectic, but very fun. So let's go ahead and get into them. So first we're going to be starting off with this wood heart from Dollar Tree and some of these little round sticker things. I'm going to go ahead, of course, take off all of the extra stuff on it. This one's nice that you don't really have to cut the twine because I actually do end up putting it back on and using it instead of, stringing twine through it, which can be a pain sometimes. So you're going to take your stickers and you're going to put them all the way around. And then, don't worry, they're all kinds of colors, but we're going to go ahead and paint this with Waverly's chalk paint in plaster. And you're going to just make sure you get a pretty good coat of it. I think I used probably 2 coats. Next, we're going to go in with the Waverly, I'm just kidding, guys, sorry, Folk Art Antique Wax. And we're going to give a good coat of that, just kind of giving it a little bit of texture, a little bit of antiquing. You know how it is. We like to do those kind of things sometimes. This one is definitely kind of pulling in a little bit of Farmhouse right now, but here you'll see in a minute it's kind of going to go a little bit of a different direction. I don't know, these projects I felt like I was just kind of mixing a lot of different things. And I just like that. I think that's fun. So we're just going to give it some nice distressing here with that wax. You don't really need a lot. I mean, it's up to you. You could go like really heavy on it if you wanted to. It's up to you. Your choice. Your decor. Do what you want to do. So once we are done with that, I'm going to take this wire wreath from Dollar Tree. And we're going to just hop on the struggle bus and I'm going to cut out the heart that's in the middle. Now, when you're doing it, you just kind of wiggle it back and forth. Do your best not to break the inside part of the heart. And, if you do, I'm going to show you how to fix that because I did it too. Like I said, just keep going, wiggle back and forth as best you can. If you bend it, it will actually come apart easier, but the problem is like you don't want to destroy the heart shape. So here it is. Now you'll notice one spot is broken. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Well, actually, in reality, I needed it broken. I'm sorry. I actually did that on purpose. I broke that one piece and then notice I was like, oh, look at that. I cannot get that over that little hump and you can't get it on the other one either. So I'll break it here. And I was like, oh, well, less than a good idea, Teresa, because now it's in 2 pieces. Sometimes I wonder. So it ends up being a happy accident though. I bead the one side, and to keep the beads from coming off, because I spilt them at least a couple of times, I do get some twine and put it around each side. I do that side first, and then I'm going to put down a bead, and I'm going to just put a lot of hot glue on the one side of the wire wreath form and hold that in there just to get a good, time for that glue to set a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and glue down the other piece. Just straight to the form, kind of straight where that twine is, just to get that kind of sitting down. Now you could do a lot of things. I mean, you could leave it just like that if you really wanted to. If you wanted to paint the wreath form first and then do that. Honestly, there was not a lot of plan in this ahead of time. So it worked out the way it should have been though, I think. It worked out for a reason. So we're actually going to spin that whole little part there with the twine. I'll admit it took a little bit of time to do it, so I think it's well worth it though. And then to finish it off, we'll just glue down the one piece. I think I might have used a little bit of hot glue as I was doing it. I didn't really stress out about how much to use, where, and all that. You want to use a little bit on the curve, that kind of thing. So I kind of like the beads with the twine. It just gives like it's a lot of Farmhouse, but it almost gives me like a little bit of like boho vibe. I don't know. And we're going to add this scrapbook paper, the roses, and there's actually little like music notes in there. And this was giving me like completely shabby chic vibe. And then first I decided like, oh, I'll trace on the outside. And then I'm like, no, that's a bad idea. So I'm going to trace on the inside. And since it's kind of sitting up off the paper, it gives me enough space to trace like underneath where the heart is. And then we'll just cut it out. And we're going to glue it down to the back side of this heart. Now this heart, mind you, if you just decide just to make this smaller heart part, I think it would be super pretty just hanging somewhere. You know what I mean? Like it would just be really pretty just hanging up against something. And now we are going to put it down on the first heart. It's a heart inside of a heart. So you're just going to do, a good amount of glue on there, put it down, press it down pretty good, get a good hold of it, remembering that this is wire. So you're going to need to give it a good, firm press to make sure that it's not bowing out. Here it is all finished up. It turned out really, really pretty. So on to the next one, and we're going to use that same wreath form. But now we're going to get rid of those, pieces that were kind of there. You can do one of two things. You can bend them backwards like I am doing here. I just ended up bending it back just so it's not sitting in the middle. Or you can try to snap them off. So just keep in mind, some of them snapped off really easy. Some of them did not want to snap off at all. So I end up having a couple of them. Now to snap it off, see, you just twist it enough, you go a back and forth, and it will come off pretty easy. But be careful because you don't really want to break off all of those pieces, all the way through. Then we're going to give it a quick spray paint. Now this is like a hammered rose gold kind of look. This was so funny because I ended up spray painting it really a lot to make sure I covered it, and it got the backing of what it was sitting on. It was like a puppy pee pad or something, and I got it all over the backside. So fun for me. So be careful where you spray paint. So then I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and do this twine. At first I was like, I'm going to make it really neat and pretty and solid. And then I did that for one section. I was like, oh yeah, there's no way. There's no way. When I start my twine though, I am going to make sure I cover up any of those longer pieces that are going, that are connecting those two hearts. Make sure you cover those. That's where you're going to use your hot glue to cover it. So here it is. I did it kind of sloppily, on purpose. And we're going to get our Simply Blessed calendar, and we're going to use this Love Never Fails. This was one of, the readings during my wedding, so I do have a particular fondness for it. We're going to cut it out in the heart shape, and we're going to use this foam board adhesive. They sell it at the Dollar Tree. Just to let you know, it smells absolutely awful. So if you are sensitive to smell, you do not want to buy this. Just put it on a piece of black foam board, and we're going to just cut off all the excess foam board. And like magic, here it will be, all done. Now don't worry, I haven't glued it yet. I'm just kind of setting it up against it just to make sure it looks right. And I'm going to do this back and forth a couple times. We're just going to say okay, here it is, hold it still and flip it. And then I'm like, okay, I hope it's in the right spot. And we're going to use these thick wooden dowels. If you have thinner ones, they would work just as well. Preferably if you have this longer one to go from top to bottom. See, I'm looking, I'm like, nope, it's not going to fit side to side, but it's going to fit top to bottom. See, I thought I moved my heart, then I had to flip back over and fix it. So measure out your dowels first, because you're going to have to do what I just did, is fix it, pull it up, make sure it's there, and then flip it, and just, I don't know, what is it? I'm trying to think of what it is, like a pizza pan, like you're just going to flip it around and put it on the, yeah, I don't know. You're going to then glue it down. You're going to try to find the areas of your heart that are sticking up. I mean, you're trying to glue it down to the form because the cardboard doesn't really want to sit up flush with it. I mean, I guess if I'd sat there and really figured out exactly where to cut down and get it all lined up perfectly, in hindsight, what would have been easier is just to cut the foam board to the wreath form and then cut the paper to the foam board. But, who likes to do things the easy way? Obviously not me. So I'm going to add another couple of dowels to each side, not a couple, just one dowel to each side, give it a little bit of extra support, keep that foam board in place. When you're doing this, be careful you don't have it going peeking over the edge like I did. I had to, move it over a little bit, and then I think I ended up cutting a little bit off of the other side when it was already glued down. So just so you know, try not to let it peek around the side. So here it is. It's all finished. I'm super happy with it. It's really pretty. It's probably going somewhere in our house. So here's another heart. It's just all hearts today, guys. This one is from Hobby Lobby, and I just thought it was really pretty, like all cut out and very just, I don't know, just tons and tons of hearts. And what we're going to do is we are going to take this walnut wood tint and we are going to just stain the whole thing. And here it is. Don't worry if you don't get it, perfectly precise on each spot, because you're going to just do a quick, light, brushing over it just to give it a little bit of, like, I don't know, I feel like it gives it a little more definition. Like you can see the hearts a little bit better. It's up to you if you want to try to go like heavier on one spot, maybe heavier in the middle, leaving the outside a little bit darker. So I think you could play around with that. I think that would be a lot of fun on something like this. One thing to keep in mind is they do have a few different like designs of hearts and stuff, like actually at like Dollar Tree, which we'll see here in just a minute. And so there's a lot of things you can do. We're going to use this hoop wreath form, at least that's what I'm going to call it, and we're going to fix our heart to it. This is kind of like making me think boho, so that's kind of the direction I'm kind of going. And I'll admit, I was not always the biggest fan of boho whenever I've seen it, and then like I've seen some like much more simple like wreaths done in like a boho style. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the best with knowing what exactly each style is. So please let me know in the comments if I'm not right about what it would be called. I kind of felt like this one, like the heart said a little farmhouse-ish with the way, with the wood and the, the stain and then the whitewash. But then like the wreath form is kind of on the boho side. And so that is nice and fixed down there. You just did that with hot glue, with wherever it touched the wreath. And then we're going to take this sheer light, like baby pink ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to glue down, put down a little bit of glue, and then you're just going to wrap the ribbon around it. Now, something you could do, I only had one spool of this, so I didn't want to do this way, but if you have more than one, you can definitely do it like in the middle. Like you'd have a whole, piece of ribbon, and you just line it up to where you had like a short piece and a long piece, or, do it halfway between. However you would want to do that. I didn't have a lot of ribbon to work with, so I didn't want to do that. I wanted a lot of long, flowy pieces. So we're just going to keep doing that. And we're going to also then, do it on the back side. See, I kind of wanted to cover that up a little bit, so I'm going to do it on the back to give it a little more fullness. Here it is, all finished up. So pretty. This one's going in my daughter's room. So last one, and I have one of these wood cutouts from Dollar Tree, and I just colored it with the Arteza paint markers in magenta. And now we're going to add a little bit of these pearl, they're like stick-on sticker things. And what I start off first is I just peeled it off and I add hot glue and put the thing down, put down the pearl, and then I realized I'm like, this has like a sticky backing. Why am I doing this? Why am I making this harder for myself? So what I would recommend is definitely use it. It's not very often that you actually find a piece of adhesive stick-on stuff from the Dollar Tree that's very good, but this one actually worked out really well once I realized I could do that. So that one is all finished up. I think I just wanted to add just a little bit of touch of the pearls on the pink. I thought it was really pretty, very, very feminine, very girly, And I liked the wood, I don't know what it is. It's like, I really like a lot of this contrast right now, where you've got the soft with the hard, or, this feminine with the masculine. I like it. And that's it. As simple as that. All finished. So I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. I know it's a little shorter than normal. You'll have to let me know if you like the longer videos, you like the shorter videos. And make sure you guys check back here. I'm going to be doing a video on Tuesday and Thursday of this week coming up. You're definitely not going to want to miss them. Tuesday is going to be my craft room organization. And Thursday is going to be with my good friend Cindy. You're definitely going to want to see that one because there is going to be a giveaway. So make sure you're there and don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you next time.